Tennessee has some work to do in the transfer portal as they've got Wendell and Amari Jefferson now are the only two transfers that are committed to Tennessee. So let's take a look at the other positions of need, and let's go ahead and make it a poll question if we can. Caleb, what are you most concerned about for this upcoming season? Defensive line, offensive line, safety, linebacker. Cooper, what should we do if we want to be a part of the program?
Yeah.
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
All right, Coop, what down?
Coop here. First down.
By the way, just for those that care, Coop is working in Arizona, and he is just knocking it out of the park. He's going to be a fantastic NFL player. Defensive line. How concerned should Tennessee fans be about the defensive line and the fact that they haven't picked up anybody in the transfer portal to this point to man up front at a position in which the Vols have lost a lot?
Highly concerned. I'm not actually, if it's funny because James Pierce may be their best player. I don't think losing him is their biggest concern. Jordan Ross, Joshua Joseph, guys, they're going to be fine at edge rusher next year. But Jordan Ross is actually better than James Pierce. I'm saying that right now. You heard it here first. I'm going to repeat that. Jordan Ross is better than James Pierce.
Okay. Now, it's interesting to me that James Pierce went from the number one pick in the draft. And I think some of us defended him as he's getting there. He's getting close. He's doing all these things. He's got the pressures. But now he barely made ESPN's top 25. So I think you have to look back and say, what happened with that? Because that was supposed to be an elite player that instead was a good player.
What happened is Mel Kiper is lazy, and he probably handles that. And this is the same Mel Kiper that said the Titans should trade up to get Will Levis because he's a rare talent. So that's what happened. We should never listen to ESPN again as long as Mel Kiper is handling their draft analysis.
Mel Kiper wasn't the only one that had him towards the front. And listen, regardless of what you think of him as an athlete, he was completely misused. Completely.
Pierce?
Yes, he dropped into pass coverage way too often. I don't think we know whether or not James Pierce is a better NFL prospect compared to 6 months ago because he dropped into coverage too often. The 4-point stance makes absolutely no sense. Can you please tell me, Caleb, when is the last time you have seen an elite pass rusher in a 4-point stance? Try never.
You're right.
Try never.
Didn't they use DeMarcus Ware sometimes in a 4-point stance in Dallas?
Yeah, but he would line up a tackle. That's a good one. But, he would line up a tackle from time to time in their pass rush package. So I don't really count that. I'm just talking about a guy that's on the edge, and he's lined up in a 4-point stance. And the reason was he couldn't set the edge. That's why. So he had to bear down and get leverage. But that, again, raises the question of, was he not strong enough? Did he not develop enough to be an elite player? And the answer,
Derek has a point. Derek has a point. Derek Barnett did too. As a matter of fact, Darrell Taylor did when Butch Jones's whole 4-3 system had players in a 4-point stance most of the time as edge rushers. Now to the point, I wanted to just address what defensive tackle.
That's Butch Jones.
Very fair point. Defensive line, I just wanted to address though. I think you agree with me, right? They got enough talent at edge rusher. They'll offset James Pierce. The question is, can they offset the defensive tackles? Because losing Amari Thomas, Omar Norman Lott, Elijah Simmons, they get Jackson Boyd back, I think. But and Bryson Easton, though, they lose the other 4 guys. That's a lot to offset. And they either need a John Henderson or they need about 5 bodies that they can rotate in and out. One of the two. And they don't have either right now.
Well, that's what they had last year. And it kind of worked. It didn't work against elite competition. Let's move on. As far as replacing Pierce, in retrospect, I don't think there's any challenge. Had you asked me in August, I was like, man, that's going to be a tough guy to replace. But he didn't develop, and he was misused. So replacing that, I don't think is a great challenge.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Right, second down is the offensive line. I will go ahead and tell you, I think the offensive line is going to be better by default. I think that Lance Hurd gets another year. He's healthy, assuming they're healthy. I think that this offensive line will be considerably better. It's maybe where I break with Jimmy a little bit when we talked about it earlier. I think the offensive line, just by maturation, will be better.
Yeah, but I think that we're forgetting that the center calls all the plays on the offensive line, and I think we're going to we're really underrating how much of a loss Cooper Mays is. I think we think William Satterwhite can replace him and fill that void, but I mean, Cooper Mays was such a. We saw it last year when Tennessee was without him early in 2023. I mean, the offensive line was totally different, and it's not that the other guys blocking were not good. It's just that Cooper Mays was such a rare. I mean, he really anchored that run game, Dave. You know, we talk about Javonte Spraggins and we talk about Andre Carrick, but I feel like Cooper Mays anchored the run game more than anybody. He understood leverage, and that's going to be – it's so weird to say. I always hated coaches back in the day. I'm sure you remember coaches be like, the center touches the ball every place. Well, they're the most important offensive linemen. And you're like, they sound so dumb when they say that, right? But, like, it kind of applied at Tennessee, didn't it?
Yeah. That – you've got a lot of voices, Caleb. That one might be the most infuriating.
How many coaches would you hear say that the center touches the ball, so they're more important than the left tackle, which was so stupid back in the day?
Well, that is very stupid.
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
That's hella stupid, is what that is. Safety. Tennessee needs to address that position, do they not?
They do. They absolutely need to address the safety position. I mean, Christian Harrison obviously entering the transfer portal. If they're going to use Boo Carter more on offense and they're going to need more openings at safety, Dave, I'll just tell you this right up front. I'm going to say something crazy. I think they should just convert fully, not have him play both sides, just fully turn Boo Carter into an offensive player. I think they're wasting him by putting him at nickel, quite honestly. I think he's too good with the ball in his hands.
So
just
you
make him be
would
a full.
flip him all together? Or
I would flip him all together. He wouldn't
play any defense.
No defense. He should just be the slot receiver. Dave, he is too good with the ball in his hands, and you're using him at nickel. You're not even using him at cornerback. Like, it's one thing if you have a cornerback to be a two-way player, but because cornerbacks kind of like lock down the field. But Dave, you answer it for me. With the exception of Eric Berry, most of the time, and with the exception of Tennessee, because of Larry Slade and people like that, most NFL teams or most college football teams, the cornerback has a bigger impact than the safety, right?
Yeah, I mean, to me, if I were him, I would want to play corner, but some kids want to punt. I mean, you never know. So, but that's what I would want to play corner, because that's the most money. By the way, what should Vols be most concerned about this upcoming season? Defensive line, no votes yet. Offensive line, 82% of the votes. So I'm in the minority. Linebacker, 18%. Safety has yet to receive a vote. Let's change up the poll question. Should Boo Carter be an offensive player, a defensive player, or both? 4 downs. Brought to you by our fantastic friends at Commercial Bank. Bank on it. Tennessee absolutely has to address this next position or there are problems.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
All right, I think this is the biggest position of concern.
Right, you skipped it down.
Whoa!
No, wait, you didn't. Sorry, I'm trying to cheat.
Wow, that hurt.
I just gaslit Dave totally.
Yeah, I'm used to it. All right, so linebacker. I don't have concerns with linebacker. I got concerns with linebacker depth, but if you told me right now Arian Carter and Jeremiah Telander are healthy for the entire season, I got zero concern.
Yeah, but like, don't you always want another linebacker just for safety? No pun intended, for safety purposes.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
there are other things you want for protection, but sometimes they're not around.
Okay, I know you're not going to get the level of depth like Alabama. I'm not talking Alabama 2020 or anything like that, but in this day and age, can't you have enough depth where if one of your starters goes down, you can replace him? Can't you at least have that?
No. This is the day and age of NIL. Guys are transferring and leaving. You can't. You just answered your own question.
NFL teams have that level of depth. They usually can replace one guy.
Really?
You don't think an NFL?
If a starting quarterback gets hurt, that season's pretty much over.
I mean, the Titans got the number 1 seed in the playoffs after Derrick Henry went down a few years ago, and they still managed to get the number 1 seed in the playoffs.
The show representative. Yes.
Maybe that shows how overrated the running back position is, to be fair. But
it does.